Let's talk about a word you've probably seen 1,000 times in the crypto world. HODL. And yeah, it looks like a typo because, well, it was. But somehow that one little mistake exploded into this whole philosophy, a battle cry. And for some people, it feels a lot like a religion. So let's really get into it.
I mean, it's so easy to just write it off as a simple buy and hold strategy. But have you ever really stopped to think about what's going on inside the mind of someone who's hodling? What if there's something deeper? That's what we're going to do right now. We're going to peel back the layers and look at the fascinating psychology behind one of the most powerful and maybe, just maybe, irrational forces in the market.
Okay, so to really get this, we have to go back, all the way back, to the exact moment this whole thing was, well, accidentally created. Yeah, this isn't some deep quote from an ancient philosopher. Nope. This was typed out on an internet forum late at night by a guy who straight up admitted he was drunk and just done trying to time the market. I am hodling. That's it. A simple typo born from pure frustration that just perfectly captured a feeling that so many people instantly understood. And just like that, a meme becomes a mantra. HODL suddenly meant hold on for dear life. It literally went from a drunken joke to a genuine philosophy, one built on this incredible patience and a deep, almost unshakable belief in the future, even when the present looks like it's on fire. But let's be real for a second. It takes way more than just patience to watch your life savings drop 80% and still not sell. So what is really going on under the hood? Well, it turns out it's this incredibly complex mix of emotions, a real psychological cocktail. Yeah, a psychological cocktail, that really nails it, doesn't it? It's not just one thing. It's this potent brew of all these conflicting feelings that keep someone locked in, even when every rational bone in their body is probably screaming, "Get out!" So let's break down the recipe for this thing. You start with a huge helping of hope, right? Hope for a totally different future. Then you lay down a solid base of faith, just pure belief in the technology. Then you stir in a good bit of pride. You know, that feeling of, I got in early, I saw what they all missed. And of course, you gotta have a dash of fear. The fear of missing out. The fear of selling right at the bottom. And then there's that last little ingredient, the one that's really tricky. Delusion. And this is where it gets really interesting, because when someone is hodling through a nasty crash, they're not just holding on to a digital coin. No. They're holding on to something so much more powerful. They're holding on to a story. And that story, it always starts big. It's about a revolution. It builds on this promise of changing everything we know, a new kind of money, a whole new way of doing things. And then it gets personal, really personal. It stops being about changing the world and starts being about changing your world. This is your ticket, your one shot. And that story, that's everything. It's like emotional armor. It's what gets them through the vicious bear markets, through all the fear and the doubt. It's the only thing protecting them on those nights when the charts are just a sea of red, and literally everyone, your friends, your family, all the experts, are telling you you're absolutely crazy. And hey, maybe they're right. Or maybe they're not. Because when the whole world is calling you insane, you are walking this incredibly fine, blurry line between two of the most powerful forces we have as human beings. To do this, to take that kind of heat, it takes more than just being sure of yourself. It requires a kind of blind faith, a belief in a future that you can't see yet, a commitment to something you absolutely cannot prove. But hold on. Before we just dismiss blind faith, let's remember what that kind of belief can do. It's the exact same force that's behind humanity's greatest achievements. It's what built entire civilizations out of nothing. It's what launched ships across terrifying oceans when the map just said, "Here be dragons." It sent us to the moon. Faith on its own is a world-building power. But here is the razor's edge. On one side, you have faith, the power that builds, the source of resilience and strength. And on the other side, you have delusion, the refusal to see what's right in front of you, the blindness that can lead you right off a cliff. And you want to know the terrifying part. From the inside, they can feel exactly the same. And that brings us to the final question. Really, the most important one. It's the question every single true believer, no matter what they believe in, has to face sooner or later. When does it happen? When does that incredible strength, that world-changing faith, cross over into something dangerous? When does your commitment stop being a strength and start becoming your biggest weakness?
So think about it. When you ignore every single warning sign, when you tune out every voice that disagrees with you, are you being strong or are you just refusing to see? At what point does holding on become refusing to let go? That's the tightrope every hodler walks. And that is the real question at the heart of it all.